Well, how do you know which agent's best?
We spent a lot of time on this. We've long left the chapter of this book where the model power in of itself is enough.
And what do you measure?
We think about lethality.
Dave, one of the things that I get asked all the time is, Mythos is out now. What should my red teamers be doing on the inside? How should they be thinking about building harnesses?
Yeah, it's a great question, and transparently, it's hard. I think one of the things that's challenging is that your goal is to understand how well you're doing and to know that you're actually improving. And to do that, you need ground truth. You need to know what's exploitable. You need to know where you were deficient. You need to know about the technologies that maybe you don't use today, but you want to buy tomorrow. And I think when you do that in-house, it becomes very challenging. You don't have a ton of capacity or time to deal with false positives. You don't have the know-how to look at a tech stack you've never used before. And this is something that we struggled with. And the answer was bringing online a huge number of experts, experts from tons of different companies and backgrounds, experts in OT, internal networks, web applications, external, everything. And I think using AI is so important. Like, we need to be able to pressure test and scale ourselves horizontally. But knowing that you're using these tokens, that you're using your human resources effectively, knowing you're on the right vector, the right path, it's really hard.
How expensive is this stuff?
The answer is yes. Intelligence at the very cutting edge is expensive. For the same intelligence, it gets cheaper and cheaper. And so I think one of the things we started to see as well is this manufacturing in the open weight models coming out of China, where their cost per intelligent outcome has dropped significantly. This presents these blended opportunities where you're looking at which tokens ought to be the most intelligent, just intelligent enough, fast to slow. It's this multidimensional optimization problem, but one that allows the defenders to now have a shot at doing things they never could have done before.
Well, how do you know which agent's best?
We spent a lot of time on this, and a lot of phenomenal engineering and research went into how we measure models. And we actually made a conscious choice when we did that, that we'd never show any lab, any research group what those evals are. We have enormous cyber gymnasiums that challenge and look at what models' capabilities are from an offensive perspective. We want to understand how smart they are, but also how willing they are to do offense. And that lets us quantify both the raw capabilities, but also our capabilities on top of just a pure model. We've long left the chapter of this book where the model power in of itself is enough. All the layers of context management and the harness and how you think about all the inputs and tools that are available to your agents, that's the thing that's been boosting performance quarter over quarter over quarter for us. And so all of that requires rigorous measurement and setting up a lot of evals.
Got it. And what do you measure?
We think about lethality. We reward the model based on how effective it is at penetrating an application. So you get a lower score for maybe getting a toehold and a much higher score for being able to get all the way to RCE, domain admin, compromise of a network. And I think this gives us the visibility into, okay, there's a frontier of capabilities, and now we're pushing past that frontier generation over generation. We can understand what's kind of one-click automatable, what should we be worried about, versus what's going to be something that's requiring a lot of architecture and orchestration in order to be achievable.
How do you safeguard? You're talking about, we're using frontier labs. Have you ever seen them just go off the reservation?
Yes. I think a challenge that labs, both on the American and Chinese labs, have faced is what we call reward hacking. They're optimized to do well in tasks, and one way you can do that is by cheating, by breaking out of your sandbox, by trying to bypass a proxy. And we spent a lot of time focused on how do we put this alien intelligence into a box that we think is safe. And sort of our mantra for this is controls can never live in inference. They cannot be trusted. You have to build controls that sit entirely outside of the AI part of your system. You need to know that your proxy rules, that your sandbox, your configurations, everything is locked down so you can trust the outcome, even if you don't trust the alien intelligence inside of it. Additionally, we spend a lot of time thinking about the safety of actions into themselves. And it's been a very rich area for us to train because we really have an enormous set of insights into what is and isn't safe. What would a professional red teamer, where would they stop? Where would they say, that's enough for me to prove the vulnerability without damaging the system? And so we spend a lot of time looking at classification of safety.
Have you found different agentic capabilities on our side by using different models?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Models have personalities. And I think in the last couple of years, the sort of sentences that you say in an engineering team are just like weird, where you're talking about the vibe or the feelings or the compliance of a piece of technology is just not a concept we dealt with or grappled with before. But it's now half of what we do. We've seen entirely new strategies for beating some of these cyber gyms from a model that we never saw before across thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of runs that we've never seen anyone do it. And all of a sudden, a new model, not even the most powerful model, not even necessarily an American model, can do something we've never seen before. And so there's truly scary and exciting emergent properties that we're seeing from these models as they're released every quarter.
And all these companies, the frontier labs, are saying, we're going to make safe models.
Yeah.
How does that impact your line of work?
Because what we think about is, what is the model that the adversary is going to use? Mm-hmm. And so in the event that someone makes a truly entirely cyber nerfed model, whatever. The adversary is probably not going to use it. We don't need to focus on it that much. Right. But something has started to change. And I think we're seeing such advances from the open weight models that we fear that continuing to limit access to cyber intelligence is beginning to put America on the back foot.
A year out, how are cyber offense by adversaries, how are they functioning?
I think we're going to see a massive transition to large-scale use of open weight models. Right. And in particular because I am not totally convinced that Chinese cloud providers are keen to limit that behavior. Right. As long as that check clears, they're going to let you use it. And so there's no guardrails, there's no restrictions, there's no monitoring, auditability, and no recourse. Right. And so you have incredible, powerful intelligence that's generally available and really cheap.